Turning now to Brazil, where wildfires in the Amazon continue to burn at unprecedented rates. But the Brazilian president has yet to respond to the fires, and many are blaming his administration for the flames. CBS News correspondent Manny Bojorquez spoke to a tribe chief who says the president's policies have led to the destruction of the land.
The Bolsonaro policies going totally against indigenous people. He wants open indigenous land for mining companies, for logging companies. They say indigenous people have so much land for little people. If we continue in this kind of mentality, no longer we're going to have a genocide in Brazil.
Several groups representing the indigenous tribes have declared a humanitarian emergency. In an open letter, the group calls for the United Nations to intervene and assist with putting out the fires. Here with me now is the writer of that piece, Earth staff writer Yesenia Funes. Explain why the headline for your piece is called genocide, and is the Brazilian government basically targeting the indigenous tribes there?
Well, it's tough to say whether they're quote-unquote targeting the indigenous people of the Amazon. However, if you speak to experts, if those experts who are in communication with these people, they go as far to call it a genocide. You know, some people might say it's an ecocide, as the fauna on the floor are suffering, but they use the term genocide because there are also human lives at stake here. And Bolsonaro has been clear since the beginning during his campaign that he was willing to privatize and open up these lands where humans live, where the indigenous people of the Amazon live.
Well, while they're saying that they may not have been targeting, is some of that criticism coming from the fact that we're not seeing a lot of action to stop them?
Right.
To stop the fires. It's one thing to initiate a fight, it's another thing to not break up a fight. Is that one of the reasons why this seems to be sticking against the president?
Here's what I'll say. The inaction certainly carries weight, right? He's been hesitant to take funds from groups, and the G7 offered $20 million, which is not very much money.
And he declined it.
Right, he's declined that money. He's been on and off about whether he'll take the money or not.
Yeah.
But let's say he declined it because he hasn't taken it yet. But the inaction is a big part of it. In years past, you would expect the president to, get their aircraft ready to put out these fires, or to at least speak out of concern for these people. But there's been no indication at all that there is concern for the people who live there.
Why are the tribes, and for people who don't know, why are they considered the guardians of the forest?
Well, there has been a number of research that shows that lands that are owned or maintained, rather, that have been given titles to indigenous communities, these lands suffer lower deforestation rates. A study showed that a year after the lands were given to indigenous people in the Peruvian Amazon, deforestation rates decreased by 80%. That's a significant reduction. And these individuals depend on the rainforest. They don't have a supermarket or a pharmacy the way that we do.
It's their home. They're not renting. They live there. You tend to take care of a place you bought. And
they depend on it. They need it. That's where they get their food. That's where they get their medicine. If they don't have the rainforest, they have nothing.
Has there been a rise in the number of deaths in not only the tribes people trying to defend, but other environmental defenders?
Yeah, around the world, there have been a number of reports that show environmental defenders, largely indigenous peoples, suffer incredible murder rates. I'm talking about higher rates than you'll see soldiers from the UK and Australia combined. Over 600 people have died in the last 15 years, defending their land, speaking out about their land.
Is it directly related to defending the land?
Yes, it is. It's directly related to stopping logging efforts, preventing mining, speaking out against a dam that's going to block the river and keep the fish from reaching their home. It's a direct relation to that.
Let's talk about some of the fires, because North America seemed to pay attention once they saw some things trending on Twitter and on Instagram, right. and it looks absolutely horrible. Are these fires encroaching on protected land, and if they cross over, what can be done by the tribes and government? I mean, we pass the point of no return. Do you have to let it burn at this point?
Well, the analysis on what lands are burning is still...
Even that's being disputed.
That's still being disputed. Okay. However, Amnesty International has conducted an analysis on at least one territory that is maintained by indigenous people. These are protected lands, the Caripuna. And this year alone, since January compared to last year, their rate of deforestation has increased by 300%. And that's not from them. That's not a result of their burning the forest. That's a result of people coming in to destroy the forest. I'm talking about 25 fires last year, 101 fires this year, and the year's not even over. You know, fire season has simply begun.
Yeah.
So this is only getting started. In terms of what people can do, I think that the outrage has been warranted. I think that it's certainly helped elevate the issue. We're seeing pressure now on the president. He at least is willing to talk about it, you know, as he says. But certainly we have to just keep being aware of this issue and watch what we consume.
Well, and let me ask you this. How do you make somebody in America care about a fire burning thousands of miles away? What do you tell them? I've heard everything from the lungs of the earth to which that has kind of been debunked. But what we don't know that's in there, possible medicines, possible cures, is that something that's going to get the attention?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the Amazon remains to be explored. There are hundreds of tribes that remain uncontacted. There are hundreds of acres of land, millions of acres of land that still, you know, is unexplored territory.
A medicine that we could use here may be undiscovered there.
More importantly, though, it's a major carbon sink. There are billions of tons of carbon stored in this ecosystem. When all of that is burning, that's carbon being released into the atmosphere. We're already suffering incredible climate change. Every day we're emitting carbon into the air. The last thing we need is billions of tons more of carbon to further exacerbate the issue.
An interesting topic to talk about, and I'm glad we are talking about. Yesenia Funes, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Omar.